Like it's a marker. And it's like, I was talking to Amanda about it last night. I was like, I know it doesn't matter, but it's like, it's a marker for me as an educator, because this is something that is valued in that world. And I could tell 99% of people, and they're just like, oh, cool, who cares? It's like, whatever. They don't know. And again, it might not, it doesn't matter. However, in education, getting that, for people who know what it takes to get that, it means something, because they went through it. It's like you've directed a documentary, Neil. If I was just like, oh yeah, I could just go out with my phone, probably make a documentary real quick. Like it's that level of, you could be just like, you'd give me a courtesy smile and go, yeah, maybe you could. And you never talk to me again. You know what I mean? Like, well,
it legitimizes it.
Well, it legitimizes that. And also, yeah, exactly. That's what it does. And that's the thing. I speak at schools. I work with, and I look like an 11th grader running for student council vice president. And I'm up there like, hey, here's how you should teach. And 40-year veterans are like, shut up.
What are you doing? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, kid, with your Nikes?
Welcome to season 3 of the Explain Everything podcast. In the next 30 minutes, your 2 best friends are going to help you stay the smartest person in every room. And hey, tell all your friends about this podcast, or you'll never meet your true love. Don't worry, though. Neil will love you. Not more than chili cheese conies, though. Don't be ridiculous. We've got new full episodes every Monday and little baby bonus episodes every Thursday. An all-new Explain Everything podcast starts right now. Looks like we made it.
That slaps. Because I did a clap. And a clapping is really just slapping yourself in the other hand.
Yeah, why do we call it a clap when it's a slap?
I don't know. It's cool that they rhyme, though, just in case.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're in for a treat today. Okay. I don't really know another way to describe this to you other than Tyler Tarver has an important announcement.
Can I be Frank the Tank with you, Neil? Yeah. Let me tell the audience. I'm gonna be honest with the audience. Okay, so it's legitimate. I'm not even lying.
Okay,
it's like 5. Actually, I'm lying. It's 6 in the morning. It's 6 o'clock in the morning.
There
right
it
now.
is. Yep.
It's when we record.
Yeah.
It's before work. Look at Neil. So fancy. So elegant. And last night, I legitimately fell asleep around midnight. Woke up at 12:36. It's a 36-minute.
Not much of a nap.
Score at home, and was like, you know what? I'm not tired. And so I went and did a little workout from 2 to 3 a.m.
Wow.
And I stayed up. I cleaned some sports cards because, it's no guilt. Not doing during work hours.
Yeah.
Not checking my other emails.
No.
It's like, hey, it's 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. I'm cleaning this.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
So I'm cleaning this.
Yeah,
I cleaned those sports cards up.
I'm cleaning
Send them off to SCC, sponsored by SGC.
Hey.
And
I thought it was going to be sponsored by 10 Fitness. My bad.
Oh, yeah, I went to 10 Fitness, but I didn't mention my name.
No.
Because they're not a sponsor.
Sorry.
Yet.
Yeah, not
you
yet.
You ain't getting no free money out of me, Brad Pitt. You know what I'm saying? All right, Neil, what are we talking about today? They say banter at the end.
Finish what you said.
And I never went to bed.
There it is.
And so I slept 36 minutes last night, give or take.
Ladies and gentlemen, this podcast is brought to you by 36 minutes of sleep.
Yeah. No
that
telling
version
what
of Tyler is the Tyler we all know and love.
I say I'm probably going to get about 73 to 75% Tyler.
Okay.
And you never want to go over 40% Tyler. So you guys can just check out right now. We'll see you guys next week.
Anything
check us for the
over
baby
that.
bonus bump episodes.
Wow. Yeah, check those out.
Or whatever we do. Who knows?
What are we going to do?
Who knows what the future
Tyler,
holds?
we do have an announcement for Tyler Tarver. This is a very, very, very special podcast. There's something that has happened. I don't know where you were yesterday. By the time you're listening to this, our record date, I don't know where you were the day before we recorded this, but you probably felt something.
Yeah.
Felt something like a ripple in the space-time continuum across all planes.
Is it like in Star Wars Episode 3, whenever Palpatine's on the ground, he looks weak, but then he's like, ultimate power, and he shoots the lightning out of his fingers? You think they felt that?
I guarantee you they
knocked
that.
Mace Windu. If you were near Samuel L. Jackson yesterday, there's a good chance he was flying out a window. Ultimate power. That's one of my favorite gifts.
Can I say it, or do you want to say it?
You can say it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Tyler and Neil Explain Everything podcast. However, from yesterday on,
this is an exclusive.
This is now the Dr. Tarver.
We never say our last
names.
Some
guy that is just playing catch up, Explain Everything podcast. Tyler Tarver is a doctor. And we have joked around about this process. We have talked about this for a long time, but this is real.
Yeah,
this is real.
I'm a doctor.
This happened.
It happened.
And we want to explain to you the entire process of getting your doctorate?
Yeah. Well, and again, my doctorate is in educational leadership, so medical doctor is a little different.
It doesn't matter.
My kids were like, "Oh, you're 37. You're pretty old to get your doctorate."
Your kids said that?
Yeah. They like to bring me down
How
a peg or two
rude.
pretty much every time I talk.
Gosh.
And I told Amanda actually jumped in before. She goes, "The people that are like medical doctors, like they don't stop. Like they go straight into like from undergrad for usually 3, maybe 4 years."
Why did she bring that up?
What?
Why did she bring that up?
She's letting them know that they get done faster
you had
because
to
they
pause.
can't do their job until they need
yeah.
it. And I was like,
Okay.
guys, I don't even need this thing. This is actually just a waste of money.
No, you know who needs it? The people.
The people
The
need it.
people need
People
it.
versus Larry Flint.
Dr.
That was rated R. I didn't
Tyler
watch
Tarver. No, we didn't watch
that.
it.
No, we watched that.
Dr. Tyler
Woody
Tarver.
Harrelson. Wasn't he in that?
I don't know.
He did his best. Hey, so I got a doctorate.
This is a
John
big
Dr.
deal.
Tarver.
This is a big deal. Dr.
It is to
Tarver.
me.
If you're following him
Who else
on
cares?
TikTok, it's not Tyler
Change
Tarver.
the name. It's not Sir Tyler Tarver.
Yeah, it's Dr. Tyler Tarver.
Yeah.
You saw the name change
Doesn't
yesterday.
flow as well, but
Dr. Tyler Tarver?
it just doesn't flow like Sir Tyler Tarver.
We'll keep Sir in there.
Well, can I be honest with you, Neil?
Sure.
I wasn't officially a Sir. No one knighted me, to my knowledge.
No way.
Yeah, I don't think anybody knighted
This
me.
entire time.
Yeah. I thought it was like, oh, cool.
I've been out there knighting people constantly.
You bought a Sherlock Holmes book, so
A lady
it's
that
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
didn't answer an email the other day at work, and I walked over to the desk, and I said, "Hey, Rita." She said, "Yeah." I said,
Rita!
I knight thee.
Okay.
Unable to answer your emails.
Okay.
Am I doing it wrong?
I don't know. I don't know how it works.
Sir Tyler Tarver is gone. This is Dr. Tyler Tarver.
Yeah.
He's here,
Yeah,
ladies
but
and gentlemen.
do you remember whenever I was like, "Hey, man, let's wait. We're gonna like redo the podcast."
I do remember
thumbnail, and then I realized I was like, "Let me wait till I get my doctorate, and then that way I can have it on there." I realized we don't have any place where we put any type of prefix to it.
It doesn't matter.
It's just Tyler and Neil.
I want to call you Dr. Tyler.
Okay,
The
That's-
Dr. Tyler
is that-
and Neil explain everything.
I don't care,
podcast.
but is that question?
Mhm.
Is that a condescending to people? Do you
No,
think? I
no.
think it's cool.
I think it's cool.
I'll take whatever I can get.
I would use it. Listen, listener.
Call me
if
doctor.
you're,
Just don't call me Colette. 20 cents a minute. Not sponsored by Colette.
I don't think
John
it's-
Stamos used to be in Colette commercials. A lot of people don't know that. Man, I'm just saying everything that rolls in my head. Usually I filter a lot of this out,
this
but
is 75%.
I'm pretty tired. So you're catching pretty much everything that comes to my head.
This is really important.
Popping out.
Okay, so first of all,
John
this is a really
Stamos
big deal.
Being in Colette commercials.
No,
He looks good.
he's Greek.
Is he really?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, so him and Giannis. That
No, he just
explains
eats a
the
lot of
look-alike.
tzatziki's.
Okay, I ate tzatziki's the other day. Great. Get the soft, warm hummus bread. Get
I
extra
didn't
hummus
tell
bread.
you when I saw you this morning. I thought, man, Tyler looks a little bit better today.
I'm glowing.
Yeah,
it's
there's
the
a
hummus.
glow.
I
It's
rub
the
it on my
hummus,
face.
and it was the 26 minutes of sleep you got.
Yeah, 36.
Apparently,
Give or take.
that's too much. That's more than I thought. Okay, so what we want to do is we want to walk you through the process of.
Do we? Do we want that? Do you want that?
I do. So, all right. So, what people don't know, I'm going to ask some questions around
dear
here.
goodness.
What people don't know is, first of all, that you did take a little bit of a break, but you have gone to multiple institutions. Explain to them the process of getting your doctorate.
Okay.
And this is different than you can now go cut stuff open.
I mean,
you can.
I can. I can.
Oh my gosh! Wait a minute!
I
No,
can
no.
dissect a frog.
The most important thing I'm going to ask you the entire day: when we're on a flight and one of the stewardesses runs over and says, "Oh my gosh, is there a doctor on board?"
You can
What are you
bet
gonna do?
$1,000 out of your pocket that I will say, I'm a doctor.
Yes.
And then I'll just take over. I'm going to let my instincts come in, and my instincts are all learned from movies and TV shows.
You're going to go past whoever is passed
Yeah,
out. You're going to go straight to the cockpit and you're going to go,
sir in the scrubs.
I'll
Get
take
out of my
this."
way.
No, you're going to fly the plane.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to go do surgery. You're like, I'm a doctor. And you go right past
They're
the
like,
sick
wait,
person.
no. And I'm just like, excuse me, sir. Can you get out of the aisle?
Are you the doctor or am I the doctor? So you can do it. That's
preach.
actually one of my favorite things is in a movie when they say, is there a doctor on board?
Hey, man, can I be honest with you, Neil?
Yes.
We have already used that so many times.
Are you serious?
My kids, like man and I were in the garage talking last night, and Titus comes running in and he goes, "Mom, Dad, hey, Finn got hurt." And we're like, so we get up, we're like, "What happened?" He goes, "He hurt his knee really bad." I was like, "Okay, well," and he goes, "We need a doctor."
Yes.
And then Finn popped his little head around the corner and he goes, "Hey, we got you." And I'm not kidding. We said it all the time. Every time Amanda disagreed with me on something, me or the kids would be like, "Amanda,
who's
I think I would know. I'm a doctor."
This will
Amanda's
never get
face
old.
is already, I go, "Man, I'm apologizing in advance, but I will
Yeah,
not
no,
stop.
don't apologize.
I can't stop, won't stop. Rockefeller Records."
Okay.
That's a
So
lot.
the process of getting your doctorate, first of all, you got your undergrad.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And am I right on poli sci?
Undergrad. Yeah, history and political science. Wow, touche, my guy.
I've read all your work.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, well, I don't think I published any of that. Actually did. My main senior seminar paper for high school, because I was history and poli sci for high school, for undergrad, was on the impact of C.S. Lewis's talks during World War II.
No way.
Because he did like a series of talks on the BBC.
Yeah.
And I did a paper on it.
My daughter is actually just studying that.
Really?
Yeah, in her Bible class.
That's cool.
Yeah, for real.
On C.S. Lewis.
Yeah.
Did I say C.W. Lewis?
No, you said C.S. Lewis.
Sick. That's his real initials.
Those are, yeah. Okay, so that your undergrad 4 years at what institution?
Arkansas Tech University.
Arkansas Tech University.
Then immediately
that's degree number one. Ladies and gentlemen, for you guys to keep it at home at score.
Keep his stats at home. Who doesn't get? They were like, "Wow, cool. Can you read Tyler's resume on the podcast? Look, if you're with us, just stay with us."
So that takes 4 years typically.
Yeah, undergrad's 4.
Okay.
Went for free. That was cool. ACT took a 1 4-hour test. Went for free 4 years. Dope.
So do well on your ACT is what you're saying.
ACT is the only test you take that matters in high school.
Wow.
Well, I mean, you got to keep your GPA up to a certain level. But yeah, pretty much you do well on that ACT. My kids, as soon as they hit 9th, probably 10th grade, 9th grade, probably 10th grade, for sure, I will be putting them in ACT prep classes, either online, in person, depending on how they learn best.
Yeah, that's where
that's all they're going to be training for is that ACT.
Wow.
Now, some colleges have changed that just because of, COVID. They went to GPA only. So,
really?
But
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but a lot of the scholarships are still ACT based. And
Yes,
so
yeah.
you do well, make good enough grade, boom, you can go for free.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So anyways,
Okay.
So did that, rolled straight into my master's, MAT, Master's in the Art of Teaching from UCA. I was one of the first or second cohorts when they started that there.
Okay.
Did that, took a year and a half. That's kind of fast for a master's, but it's like 30 something hours, took 9 hours per semester.
Were you working full time and doing that?
Yeah. Started teaching, working full time, did that. And it was in person, not online. Like every class was in person. So it's like
my gosh.
from 6 to 9 p.m., 2 or 3 nights a week.
Where were you teaching?
I was teaching BB.
So you're driving back and forth to BB, but you at this time, are you living in Valonia yet?
No. We were living in Conway that first year.
That's right. Okay.
And then thankfully I just got married. So, no big life transitions, first real job, teaching, married, and then doing masters. And so finished that, took about a semester and a half break because Amanda was in her master's. We're trying to pay for all that.
Okay.
And so then I did Arkansas State University for my admin. Finished that
you
up.
went back to Arkansas State. No, Arkansas State.
I never go back to the same college, apparently.
Yeah,
for any of my
there's a tracker. So we've got Arkansas Tech. Now we're at UCA. Now we've gone to ASU.
A-State.
Okay.
Yeah, ASU. Correct. Wow,
Okay.
nailed it. First try. So did that, got my admin stuff. It's weird. It's not like technically called a degree. It was called like a program of study, but then they changed the name and made a certificate. They're great. They've been fun. I'm actually, that's a lie. They've been kind of a hassle about turning that. They're like, well, you'd have to go back and retake all of those same courses. So I would take no new courses, same courses just to get a little piece of paper. I might just print it off, say I printed this and put the name on it and put it in a frame. So did that. Yeah, duplicate
copy.
Made up, make believe. That would look good on a wall. Did A-State. Then I went to U of A. I don't think I'm missing any. I went to U of A, did that online. That was my specialist degree. So
that's after your master's.
After my master's, after my program of study, A-State, then I did the specialist, which is
how many years?
That was 2 years. And essentially it's like 30 something hours. You're doing it's like 2 or 3 years, I think. But it is like a lot of people will skip specialist. And the reason I did it was because I was going to roll straight into a doctorate. Well, I did the specialist and then it was like, there was like this weird gap. So I was like, you know what? I'm good. And so I actually started a year later at Liberty and I was going to do online.
For real?
At Liberty, yeah.
So we're at 10 hours already. You haven't even, 10 years.
Yeah,
we're at 10 years already before Liberty.
Yeah.
I didn't know about Liberty.
Yeah. So I started at Liberty 6 years ago and I did it online. And it's back whenever we didn't have internet at the house because AT&T is the worst. And so I
remember these years.
Yeah, I would go sit outside of Starbucks after they closed.
Remember these years.
Like typing papers because we didn't have internet. So I'm like using their internet. And I did like one class there and I did fine in it. But I don't know. I was like, I hated it. And it's like, when we talk about the 2 ways to do online learning, you either do like time-based. So it's like, hey, just give me the classes. Let me do it as fast as possible. I'll knock it out on my own. Or you do cohort-based where you go and travel along with the community. It's a group. And I didn't think I cared about that. But also I'd heard so many stories of superintendents and even, the previous commissioner of education for Arkansas. Like I've heard them talk in rooms, I've chatted with them about what did you like about it? And they said one of the biggest advantages they actually had a nickname for their group. It was called like I don't know, wherever they went to college, Henderson Mafia or something. I don't know, they called it whatever college it was, Mafia, which is, that's bad.
Yeah, that's not
But
good.
what it is essentially they all look out for each other. So when he became the commissioner, he named somebody that was in his cohort deputy commissioner, and then he made super assistant. They like pretty much hire each other as soups and assistant soup. It's a network of people you do those classes with. And I was like, you know what? I think that would be more beneficial for me to have those connections, and all that.
Yeah.
And so I called my friend Leanne, who I'd used to work with, and she took my role of box out when I left. And we were just talking on the phone. I was like, yeah, I'm doing Liberty, but I don't want to do it. And she was like, yeah, I had a friend. We had both had a friend that did Harding.
Okay.
And she was like, let's see if we can get a Harding. So we did like a late interview. We were like, yeah, let's do it. Did a late interview. We both got in, did that.
At the same time?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, we're in
nice.
the same
Okay.
cohort.
Okay.
And you take 2 years worth of classes, like 30 something hours. And then then you got to do 10 hours of dissertation. And so you're paying for 10 hours. Yeah.
So you're at 12 years of just school without taking breaks, without taking anything. This is.
Well, I took a break.
No, I'm saying like even if you didn't take breaks, we condense it down to just the years that you were in school. You're talking 12 years.
Yeah, it's probably
plus the 10 hours of defending your dissertation. So it's education all the way through what really master's on. Correct.
Yeah. Pretty much.
So it's all education based after that point. But then when you go through all the masters, you go through all the extras, and then you're like, okay, I want to get my doctorate.
Yeah.
You have to, and I don't know that everybody understands this. You have to eventually do something where you're defending.
Yes.
And so explain what that is.
So whenever we finish those classes, and through that, they're teaching you how to write papers. You do like SWOT analysis, like you're learning how to essentially lead, like how can you lead a school or company or whatever it is. And then also, how can you write your dissertation? Because dissertations, usually anywhere from 100 to 150 pages. And you think like just writing it. Because like in the middle of this, I wrote my education book. Like I wrote a book in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Way easier than writing a dissertation. Way easier.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Because you can just write what you think.
Say what you're thinking.
Here are some stories. Here's what I think.
Yep.
You just crank it out. The thing with a dissertation is, and this is what's hard about it, you can't give your opinion.
On any of it.
Ever. You have to write 100-something pages, and everything you state has to be based and cited from honestly, they barely want books or websites.
So what are you citing?
You're citing peer-reviewed articles, journal articles, stuff that has been
proof.
Yes, you have to have been approved, and it's and in those, there's no bias. It's like, hey, here are the facts. The same people in those are stating what they found. Okay. Bam, 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 bam. And now, so with the way you write it is, you write your paragraphs. They call it meal. So you start with your main idea.
Okay.
Then you follow that with evidence, which is cited. Okay.
Right, yeah.
Then you have A, which is analysis. So it's you essentially summarizing their findings, not giving your opinion.
Okay.
Summarizing their findings.
Wow.
Without being too specific, because then you have to cite it, and it's another E.
Yep.
And you don't want to be a meal.
No. Yeah, you don't.
And then L is your link. So that's like a basic meal. And I just followed it. And then I had to go back again because they were like, you have to do weave. And so it's like you have to add in 2 or 3 research studies into your evidence for one paragraph, do an analysis. It's like you have to have 2 or 3 of this, and then you have to go sometimes
figuring out a different language.
It really is. And then if you get too comfortable, like one of the things I got roasted for was I said it. I said it too often in my paper. Like I would talk about
it. You have to actually say what is
the process of online learning is this and this. It is helpful for this. You can't say it.
What is helpful?
You can't even say it in the second half of a sentence. Online learning is helpful. It is extremely useful.
Nope.
Then you have to see if online learning is helpful and online learning is good. You have to be so redundant, but then not sound redundant. So it's like you have to change it. So you have to go pretty much find and replace and fix all your its. And I said the word impact too much. They did not like that. One of my readers did not like that.
Find or replace all?
Impacts are for car wrecks. And that's what she said.
For real.
Yeah. So you
this
have to
is a lot based off of their personalities.
Yes. And if you have so, all 3 of my readers had they were all great, but they all have different things they care about.
Yeah.
So it's one of them cares really about the content. Like, we want this to be just an amazing study. We want it to be like this. One of them is like, hey, and they'll just go through and just be like, fix this citation, bam, 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 fix this heading. It's all just like that. And the other ones go in and just hitting don't say it's, don't say use meal. If you get off on that, it's it's crazy too. Cause you have all of them as teachers throughout that process before you are just doing your dissertation. And it's the stuff in their classes, that's what They're teaching for a reason because that's the stuff they're like.
They're fixated on it.
Yeah. And so that's the thing. And then they just pretty much chip away at it and then send it in a bunch.
Okay. So I want to know what your main idea is.
So this is cool. So in the process of your classes, you get to throw around like, hey, what do I want to spend hundreds of hours analyzing, 50 to 80 research studies on and writing about and presenting, like essentially is like, what am I going to be an expert? What am I building up a case for me to become an expert on and then be able to, regurgitate that to others. And originally I wanted to do it on culture. Like how can you build culture outside of, how do you as a company, once you expand, how do you keep that core culture?
Yeah.
When you're when you're remote or you're different areas.
That'd be difficult though.
Yes. And here's the issue because so you have two types of studies. There's quantitative and qualitative.
Okay.
Quantitative, it's like quantity, you think of numbers. It's based on like, hey, here is a survey. These are the numbers. Here are test scores. Here are you can base it off numbers.
Okay.
Okay. That's quantitative. Qualitative is, hey, here's what we think about this, or here, it's more vague.
Okay.
And pretty much like early on, like I was like, this is what I want to do. They were like, yeah, only one person has ever done that type of study. Like they really encourage them not to do that there. Cause it's like, they want to be able to prove it. They don't want to give opinions. And like I said, they don't, it's not opinion.
Not at all.
And so I was like, all right, cool. I'll figure something else out. And so I ended up, after, toning it up a bit, if you will, doing some lightweight lifting.
Okay.
A little tone.
Yeah.
Little
more
tonage.
of a burn.
We're on a little keto diet here just for a couple weeks. We don't really understand what keto is. We hear people talk about it. And
I like bacon.
Bacon with guac. Dip it.
What? In guac?
I don't know. Might be good. Okay. It's fine. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. I just felt like I was too serious and talking about myself too much. So I talked about
all right. So
bacon guac. So
main idea.
My dissertation topic is it's about the factors that lead to viewer engagement on educational YouTube videos. So factors that lead to educational engagement with YouTube
educational engagement.
I'm sorry. Factors. I said 36 minutes.
It's okay.
Factors that lead to viewer engagement. Oh, factors. I'm wrong. Factors that predict viewer engagement on for educational YouTube videos. I should know it. It's changed because we have to change predictive because like all my charts, I'm analyzing all these videos and you can't say, this video keeps this long. This video does this. You have to say this predicts. The model predicts. Okay. And so it's like getting that terminology. So factors that predict viewer engagement on educational YouTube videos.
Okay.
That's the term.
So you go through, you have to write your dissertation, which is a paper, which is how many pages?
Mine is, I think, 129, and I have to put my acknowledgments. Mine will be about 131 pages.
All right, so we'll call it 130. Let's say it's
we can round down.
No, if it's 131.
I'd like to round up to 250 if that's cool.
All right, 131 pages of this. You've written it. They have kind of helped you. Your advisors kind of helped you along the way.
My advisor. So you have one main advisor and two readers.
Okay.
So my main advisor I'm working with all the time. He's integral. He was fantastic.
He's walking through this with you.
He's like, I'm bouncing stuff off him. He's like, he reviews it before the readers look at it. Like he's a stats guy. He's advanced stats. So he's way smarter.
Very helpful with what
I had to rely on him a ton. Like, hey man, what do I do here? How do I do this? Like he helped incredible amount with all of that. And we actually, it's crazy. We did our entire chapter 4, which is all of your like, here are our charts and graphs and tables. Like that's your actual number. This is our analysis. This is what I'm bringing into this world of related literature. This is what I'm bringing into the world as the numbers that back everything up.
Okay.
Did all of that, all of chapter 4, and then we redid the entire thing. Oh. So we started completely over on chapter 4 and redid all of it.
So because chapters.
Because he found one that's going to be better, and he was like, we could keep with this one, but I think if we do this, it'll be way better. What do you want to do? I was like, let's make it the best.
He's trying to make sure not that your stuff is really good, but that it passes.
No.
Or both.
No, we could have passed with the first one. He wanted it to be really good.
Okay.
And I was like,
that's good.
Let's do it. I was like, if it takes me an extra 3 or 4 months
it's
or
worth
whatever.
Because you don't want to just do it just to say, I got my doctorate, but nobody really cares about
proud
this.
of. And he even said, like, he thinks that, like, hey, we can, after we get this all done, we could publish this.
So
like,
that was my question.
Is
this something that could be published?
Yeah. So it's a dissertation. So people are, ideally they cite it, they use it in theirs as related literature.
Other people are going to cite.
Yeah. So the thing they say is you can't make any statements or conclusions on anything because you're not the expert. You have to cite anything you say.
Okay.
Now, when you're done with your paper, now you are what others are citing. So therefore you are now the expert.
You're the expert
in this particular field. So now you are cited.
Wow. So if you get this thing published, other people are citing your
Well, they can cite it now as a dissertation, but if it gets published, then it's just even more widespread and people can see it and it's in journals.
So when somebody says you're published whatever, that's what they're talking about.
It's in a journal. Yeah. You're in like an academic journal. You're in a publication. Like it's legit.
Amazing.
And so it's adding even more to that topic.
Okay, so what is that process like? You have to go. So
you write those 5 pages. So let me show you the 5 chapters real quick. Okay. So your first chapter is kind of like your intro for everything.
Okay,
it's essentially it is a paragraph or two on each of your main topics, and you have anywhere from 8 to 20 something main topics. So those paragraphs can be big or small. Then your chapter 2 is your monster. That is your biggest one. That is your hardest thing because you're writing 30 plus pages on related literature. So all that stuff, it's like you take for every paragraph you wrote in chapter 1 about a topic, like if I flipped learning, that was one of mine. That's now 1 to 3 to 5 pages of an expansion of that in chapter 2.
Wow.
And you're analyzing all these different topics. So video length, video style, generational, like all that. And chapter 1 also has like your terms. It's like I had to define like every term of YouTube just because, if somebody reads it on YouTube, they need to know what's a like,
they're
what's
a lot of fun to hang out with.
Yeah.
What's a like?
What's a like, my guy? And so chapter 2 is your monster. That's your crazy one. Chapter 3 is, hey, here's what our study's going to look like in chapter 4. Here's the sample data I'm using. Here's where we're getting it. Here's why that's valid. That's reliable. Here's this. And you even have to cite why you use certain reliability and validity. So like I had to cite YouTube Basics 2018. That was the year that I pulled. It was pulled from the website that said YouTube Creator Studio is a valid source for analytics. So like I can't even just say
legitimize it.
YouTube analytics is good.
Yep,
you can't say that.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So you have to back that up. Then chapter 4, that's all your graphs, your charts, that's your numbers. That's your like, hey, here's what we found. And then chapter 5 is your summary. It's you analyzing your findings and tying it in with your related literature. So one of the big things that you have in your whole paper.
So much.
Yeah, it's a bunch. And it's broken up by those 5 chapters. And one of the things that is your main element of these is your conceptual framework, your theoretical framework. So before you go in and just do this, like when I had my, hey, I want to do on this video stuff, they were like, okay, well, what's your theoretical framework? I was like, great question. What's that? And so what that is you have to find like a theory or something that someone else has already studied and published on.
Yeah.
And then you use that essentially as your core. It's the core of your wand, Harry. It's a unicorn, Harry. And it's the core of it should be throughout your entire body of work. This is bouncing in.
This thing is always
frequently.
there. Okay.
Frequently. It's the main character in your story.
Okay.
And you're basing everything off it. And I did mine on
Myers
2005. He did a cognitive theory of multimedia learning. And so he had this theory on how we process video, visual and, verbal at the same time, these 2 channels. And he said, it's like you need to have a combination of, and he had a bunch of principles, like 8 or 12 principles on it. And we focused on 3 principles: segmenting, modality, and then multimedia principle. But it's like you talk about, hey, here are the way you learn, and here's how you should overlay graphics and photos. But what he stated is there's a point where it's too much. It overwhelms the human brain.
Yeah.
And so it's like you, as someone who's creating videos, you want to create an optimal amount. You ever watch a video and you're like, whoa, chill.
Yeah.
That's overloading your brain.
Okay.
But then there's others you watch and you're kind of like bored, like, okay, it's just a dude talking at a screen, or just a screen recording. I need something else. And so
interesting.
That's just strewn throughout mine. It's like a virus throughout my paper.
If you can,
I'm just kidding. Thanks for asking, Neil.
Morpheus.
You were like, cool. Can I get 36 hours of sleep, Tyler, to talk about this?
So can you? And I don't want to disrespect the work that you've done. Can you tell us in a sentence what your dissertation is on? Not just the title of it, but like, what is are there findings?
So what you have is you have null hypotheses. And so it's like, it's exactly like it sounds. Null means not true hypotheses. Right. And so what I had 4 statements that essentially I'm trying to prove that this stuff doesn't matter. But then, ideally you find out, this stuff does matter. There is a correlation. There is a prediction you can base. And so my predictor variables were, I've got video length and video style. So we took videos. We took 683 videos from my channel.
What?
That were from 17 seconds to 9 minutes and 58 seconds. So nothing longer than 10 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the original study had them all the way up to like 6 hours, but we cut those because those are mandatory viewings by teachers. So is it really by choice?
Yeah. Okay.
So we took 683 videos from my channel, up to 10 minutes in length, and we broke them down, by the time they were, and then we went and took 3 styles of videos: instructor only. So it's just like you talking to the camera.
Yeah.
No, nothing else. We did screen only. So no instructor visible. It's just, hey, it's a screen recording, Google tutorials for a lot of them. And then a combination. And so you can do either, a person with a screen, you could do a person with text, you can do a person with an overlay of video, just adding those elements in, stuff like you do on your videos all the time. And so you could have that and we actually had that add multiple categories, but then we dummy coded them. So we put them together into one category, instructor plus visual. So we had 3 styles that we analyzed, and then the video length was analyzed. And then in hypothesis 1, we looked at percentage watch time. And if you're keep a score out there, we use a simultaneous ordinary least square multiple regression model for that.
I'm super curious. Okay, I just practically speaking,
yeah,
what you just said really matters to me because for what I do for my job, we record a lot of training videos.
Cool.
These videos, they're on different sites and different whatever. So some of it is required.
Okay, so if it's required, hypothesis 1 doesn't matter because they have to watch it,
and that's super intriguing because there's a difference between the two. We have noticed the view time, the watch time, and the interaction time on the ones that aren't required is much higher than the ones that are required.
Yeah.
Because people don't respond to the ones that are required. I don't know why. But they used to do videos that were all screen capture.
Yeah.
Or it's somebody's PowerPoint presentation. I can't believe
I just said that. Are they
I
visible on the screen, or is it just the screen and their voice?
Just the screen.
So that would be my style too. That's screen recording only.
Those get a 0 to none feedback on those.
Yeah.
And the ones that do is where you can see the person in addition to the information that is on there. So I did a push about 6 months ago to stop doing the screen capture only and show the person who is doing it in a window off to the side, occasionally cutting back to them or a combination of both.
Yeah.
And those do so much better. Am I crazy?
Why do you think they do better?
I think it's important that people know who they're...
No. Or is that how you judge? How do you judge that they do better?
So
views?
So first of all, it's views, but it's also, did they watch the entire thing?
You're looking at percentage watch time.
Right, percentage watch time, and then the feedback after. Yeah. Do they somehow engage in a comment, in an email back, or something like that?
Okay, so
this all might be wrong.
this is very fascinating because I just did a study on exactly what you're talking about. Okay. So you want me to tell you some of the findings?
Yes.
So
because I'm doing all that based off of gut.
Yeah, gut, but you're also looking at analytics.
And
But here's some cool stuff, and it matches what you're saying. Okay, so hypothesis 1, percentage watch time. Okay. So you said an instructor plus a visual is what you think has the best percentage watch time.
Sure.
Okay. Well, percentage watch time, as the video gets longer, it gets shorter.
Right.
Okay. For all those videos, that's what we found too, for all 3 styles. Okay. Now, for that, as you get closer to 10 minutes, after about 5 or 6 minutes, you want it to be instructor plus visual. But guess what?
What?
Before that, the optimal video to retain people on that is instructor only.
Really?
And so you and I, we love to talk about video. So here's the thought. Why would somebody, I'm more likely to keep watching if it's instructor only versus instructor plus visual as it gets longer? My thought, and this is Tyler's guess, and again, I'm based off my videos.
Okay.
A lot of my videos are, hey, how to do this, and it's just me telling them the answer to it. Here are my thoughts on this. I'm giving them a quick answer. It's like a teacher in class. You raise your hand.
Yeah.
You ask a question.
You get an answer.
They answer it. It keeps their attention because it's answering their direct question. Now, if someone gives their answer in class and the teacher talks for 8 minutes about it, they'll start losing their attention a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's where the visuals come in as it gets longer. Now, number 2 and 3. Okay, so 2 and 3 were pretty similar in our findings. So 2 is likes. So what was the engagement with the likes?
Yep.
And 3, the third hypothesis was comments. So what is the discussion? Okay. And just like you said, over time, all 3 increase. So while hypothesis 1 showed that the percentage watch time decreased as the video got longer, with likes and comments, they all 3 increased over time. So the longer you keep people, the more they're going to like it and the more they're going to comment on it. So it increases as the video, and it's exponential. So it's a lot. Once you get near 10 minutes, it's a lot more likes and a lot more comments if you can keep them, okay? Wow. And the one that did the best by far was instructor plus visual. Did better than screen recording, like those people that made those.
Right.
And so take that, whoever you are. And then instructor only. So instructor plus visual. Now here was just interesting. This is super cool, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this. And I'd love to see what you think. Why? And I'll give you my thoughts. The fourth one, which originally we did it on subscriptions, and then we changed it. It was on shares. We were looking at the amount of shares of these videos.
How does it spread?
So here's what it was. Number 2 was instructor plus visual.
Okay.
The number 1 video of shares, and this is by far, I'm talking almost 5.5 times the amount of shares at our main center, which is 3.5 minute videos. Over 5 times the amount of shares were screen only videos.
For real?
Yeah. But give me your thoughts on why, and I'll give you my opinion and my thoughts on why. Because they asked me this when I did my defense. They were asking this question on why.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. Why? Because it makes them feel smarter?
Why?
Well, because they feel like they're the expert.
Because what do you mean?
Because they are the one that's sharing it, which ends up making them more they become the expert, like what you said earlier. Like, hey, I'm going to share this kind of thing because this is more content heavy, less whatever, and so I appear like I am a little bit smarter in it.
Yeah. Are you saying, are they the creator of the video, or are they just someone sharing it?
They're just somebody sharing it.
I would agree. Yeah. I think that factors in. You talked earlier about that thing. Those people weren't looking at, they were screen recording videos, but then they weren't watching it.
Right.
They were giving it to others.
Yeah.
So here's a cool thing.
Gosh.
Think of the first 3 interactions I said.
Yeah.
Watch time, likes, and comments. Who is that for? That's for me as the person consuming the information.
Right, yeah, the watcher.
Who are shares for?
Yeah.
Others.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a teacher, hey, class, everybody watch this video, whether you want to or not, and they share it with the class.
Yeah.
Or, hey, I'm an administrator. Hey, teachers, here's how you do this in Google Classroom. Watch, and you share it. You're not watching it because you just said it. You know the content.
Right.
You're like, ooh, this is good. Take it.
I'm going to send
I don't need to comment on it. I know this. I don't need to like it. I already know this.
That's crazy.
So that's my theory.
Almost
That's all in my personal opinion.
We started doing something different with these videos. So we had a bunch of people that recorded. This is like we're on like version 5 of these similar training videos.
Yeah.
And the ones that I have gone back in, I actually went. It's terrible, but I went back through and I re-recorded what they did. And I put at the very beginning the person looking at the camera talking to the person to engage them.
Yeah.
Before we go to
the person, like you were on
me.
screen?
Yes.
Just you?
Just me.
Which, again,
Yeah.
first hypothesis
I don't
stated.
know this. I didn't know
First
this.
hypothesis stated instructor only keeps them at the beginning.
And when they asked me in these meetings, they said, why do you do that? I said, I believe that the people need to know the person that they're talking to. There has to be a human connection to it first. And then eventually you can get to the conversation about all this stuff. But I said they need to know who is the person, who's the guide that is taking them through whatever this training is.
Yeah.
That was my.
Well, now when they ask why did you do that, you can say, well, according to research, Tarver 2023, it shows that they keep their attention.
So all right, so when you go up to defend your dissertation.
So first off, you have to.
Sorry, I got really.
No, you're cool. Yeah, I love it. I'm into
That's
this.
awesome.
I've spent a lot of time on this. So I like
more than
about
any
it.
of us.
More than anyone
now
should.
More
apparently.
than ever.
I don't know what that was. So you actually have to like go in, dress nice, and you do a proposal. So you've got your team, your committee, which are your 3 people, and then you've got other people that are in the room that just want to view it.
They're watching.
Have an input. Yeah. And so you got to propose that. They didn't. Silly.
The nerve. Okay, so those people.
So that's your proposal. So you're pitching like, hey, this is what my study's on. You do a whole presentation, and they either say, yeah, sure, you can go ahead with it. You know, that's after you finish your classes. But you're like you've only got like 1 or 2 chapters in there. All right. Now, that's really mainly chapter 1 and 2 you've been working on, but you're proposing that. It'd probably super demoralize if it said no. Change it.
Gosh.
You got to redo it.
That would be awful.
Then the last part before you become a doctor is you have to defend. So what you do is you make a presentation where you talk about
your presentations are the best.
Oh my gosh, they're the worst. No. Here's the thing. Like, you know, I presented 2 schools last week. Okay. And when I do a presentation at schools, I have like 1 word on a slide and I just talk off of that.
Yeah.
And then I click
next. Because you know your audience, you know
and
exactly
it's a picture or it's a slide. And I move off of that one little bit.
Right.
I give them like a little bit and then I move off it just a little bit. But this, you have to say what's on the screen. You're saying what's on the screen and then you give maybe a sentence or 2 recap of that whole study off of that one sentence. But you don't like, here are my thoughts, or here's this, or here's a story.
You can't give any of that.
Bam, bam. And you have to do it under 30 minutes. You don't go over that. So, or that's their rules there.
Okay.
And so I'm up there and I'm just rolling through it.
Are you nervous?
Yeah, I was nervous. I don't remember being that nervous except for the first time I stood up in front of a class, 22 years old, stood up in front of my class to teach the first time. I don't remember being in that, my heart beating.
Oh my
Like your body
gosh.
to where you can't control how fast your heart's beating. I was that nervous. So like I woke up that morning early, like sick of my stomach. I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was like, you work towards this. And it's like,
This has been everything.
I would have been more comfortable if they would have walked in my house the night before and said, hey, Tyler, present now.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, sick, let's do this.
Let's do it.
It's the lead up.
Yeah.
When I ran track, I didn't care about running. It's the standing up, getting up. Like I didn't like that.
Wiggling your
Let
legs.
me just freaking do it. Call me on stage and like randomly.
Yeah,
dope. I'm
totally
down.
fine. Yep.
But don't tell me it's happening 2 weeks in advance.
Yeah, it's too far.
But no,
12 years.
No, daddy. No, don't like that.
Okay,
so anyway, so you
got
get up
30
there,
minutes.
you present, you talk about related literature, then you go through your study, you show them your graphs, you show them your breakdowns. Like I had to show like, oh, this was statistically significant because this, and this. You look at p-values, which when I was reviewing it, my wife and son the night before,
p-values.
my 12-year-old asked me, does this study have any p-values in it?
No.
And I was like, what
that's
are
your
you?
kid. That's your
what are
kid.
you, Titus? It's
Yeah.
insane. I'm like, I don't even know. I think he watched
Right.
like 8 TED Talks and got it out of one of them. And so you're talking about that, you talk about, does your model fit, your goodness of fit chi-square we did on hypothesis 2, 3, and 4 because it was a negative binomial regression analysis, bleep, blop, bloop words.
I love all these words.
Scrabble words.
It's good.
And so that's why I did this, get better Scrabble words. And so
thought about that.
anyways, you go through all that, you get to the end, and then you ask for questions, and they just pretty much ask you stuff about it.
How soon do you know after that is done?
After the first one, the proposal, they disappear for like 15, 20 minutes. You talk to kind of like the 4 or 5 people that were in the room in the back, but your committee's gone, and then they come back. This one, they leave to go deliberate and decide what to do.
Oh.
And
How long is that?
could be however long. And so
my gosh.
they leave, and I walk up and I sit in the front, and then I start talking to them. And one of them was like, he used to be a principal, and he was like, I remember hearing about Tarver Academy talking about math.
No way.
That's not his voice. But he's like, now I know a face of who they were talking about.
For real?
He used to be a principal. Yeah, it was kind of cool. The first thing he started talking to me about, they come back in. They came in less than 3 minutes later. They
What?
came back in. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, no. Is that
and
bad?
I stood back up, and Dr. One of the professors that's in there, he does this all the time. He goes, well, that's either really good or really bad.
Oh, yeah, because exactly what you're thinking.
I know. I'm like, oh, great. And I stood up, and then they
no.
told me, and then they decide essentially, you can, they say, I don't, they didn't say they used the term rejected it, but they say they can do unconditional approval, which means like, hey, go back to the lab and fix this,
Sure.
this, or I'm sorry. Conditional approval means you go and fix all this stuff, or unconditional means like you're good to go.
Okay.
Let's get your paper ready to the stylist. And they said I was unconditional. And so the way it works, so here's the cool thing. A lot of people think, okay, well, cool. So you're done because this what, January? I'm like the first dissertation of this semester.
Okay.
And so like you think, okay, cool. So you have to wait till May when you walk with your little hat. And it's like, no, that's not the way it works. So all that's just a dog and pony show.
Yeah.
You graduate when
done.
they go in there, and after I got done, they brought up some papers.
They sign it?
All 4 of us signed them. And yeah, I'm a doctor
Anybody
now.
take a picture of that?
We took a picture, not of that. We took a picture at the end. We all stood there and took a photo together. And I have no idea where it went. It's on a point and shoot camera.
No.
It's somewhere.
On somebody else's?
I took a selfie with my advisor on the way out. So I'll post it. I got crazy eyes in the photo, but also like I had just come off a pretty big high.
Yeah.
And so, hi y'all. And he's super chill because he's like, he's like, I'm smart. I'm good at stats.
Okay, so take me to the one extreme.
Okay.
Your stomach is eating itself before to then after, and you're signing all that. What is that? What is
It's
that
weird.
feel?
It's like it feels surreal. And it's like you feel, and I told Amanda, she's like, how do you feel? I was like, I feel like a shell. I feel like I'm a shell, right?
Yeah, you
now.
don't know anymore.
I don't know. Like I was just like, I don't know. It's weird because it's like, like, does it define me? No. Like, does this matter? No. Like in the grand scheme of things,
Sure.
in 400 years, well, I'll be dead. Doesn't matter. Okay. Who cares? But like for me, and for like the culmination of all those years of school, and the culmination of kind of the profession I chose to lean into, education, and like it's a marker. And it's like I was talking to Amanda about it last night. I was like, I know it doesn't matter, but it's like it's a marker for me as an educator because this is something that is valued in that world. And I could tell 99% of people, and they're just like, oh, cool, who cares? It's like whatever. They don't know. And again, it might not, it doesn't matter. However, in education, getting that for people who know what it takes to get that, it means something because they went through it. It's like you've directed a documentary, Neil. If I was just like, oh yeah, I could just go out with my phone, probably make a documentary real quick. Like it's that level of, you could be just like, you'd give me a courtesy smile and go, yeah, maybe you could. And you never talk to me again. You know what I mean? Like,
well, it legitimizes it.
Well, it legitimizes that. And also, yeah, exactly. That's what it does. And that's the thing. I speak at schools. I work with, and I look like an 11th grader running for student council vice president. And I'm up there like, hey, here's how you should teach. And 40-year veterans are like, shut up.
What are you doing? What are you talking about?
What are you talking about, kid, with your Nikes?
You have always done an incredible job at education. Like I've even told you this. My kids have watched your math videos. I have sat in rooms. I sat in a room at a board meeting with the different departments, directors for where I work. And somebody said that one of their kids is going through school and whatever, they're talking about something, and they said their math was, and I said, you definitely need to go watch Tyler Tarver.
So wait, so you're saying I'm important because you recommend me?
No.
That's what I got, and that I will take.
What I'm saying is, I know that whoever watches the content, the videos, the helpful education stuff that you put out, the books, the presentations, all of that, they get a lot out of it, and they also enjoy themselves while they're doing it. So that's part of it.
I would say some do. I found kind of my niche.
I don't care about that.
Well, I found my niche because I use a lot of pop culture references, Neil.
Yeah.
And so I found it's interesting because a lot of times when I speak at conferences or I go to schools, and especially like Texas loves to they like to get in dual speakers, okay? So like Gary Brooks, he's one of the biggest speakers in education space. I've probably spoke in that six to eight different schools or conferences where we swap. Like he'll be day one and I'll be day two, or he'll be morning, I'll be afternoon. I've never talked to him in person. We follow each other on social media.
Yeah.
But we have it's like people like, he's kind of like he's very funny, much funnier than me, but it's like you get this, what am I even talking about right now?
Yeah, well,
I'm speaking of schools. What was I saying?
You're saying the personality, people enjoy themselves and they get a lot out of it.
Yeah. The people that like mine. So my niche, that, and then like sometimes I've spoken with other people a little more serious that use like, I've done this, kind of your traditional motivational speaker. Me, I like to talk in a fast Southern accent, tell some stories,
what they're here
make
for.
Some jokes, make some one-liners. And it's like, I know them for a certain audience. I have a slide that has Milli Vanilli on it. It says be authentic.
It's a good slide.
And it's like, I do that because, it gets, I was like, and I always say like, I got something for everybody up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I joke around. And it's like,
but it's approachable
afterwards. Yeah, I think so. But that's the thing. Some people don't like it. They like more like, hey, give me you can do this, stand up. And then there's one guy I did that he presented and he like had him get up and dance to this music. And I was like, I was sitting there thinking, because I presented some small mini sessions afterwards, and he was like the closing speaker and I was the opener speaker.
Yeah.
And I'm watching it and I'm kind of in the back, just kind of like, because I like to see like, what's their style? Like, how do I, and he was really good and he had done some cool stuff, but he showed it almost felt like a promo for himself. Like he showed news, like I show a video. Whenever I have like an extended presentation, I'll show a quick video I did with some students where we made like this like rap thing. And I talk about like making things that are relevant and relevant to them, not relevant.
Relevant.
And it's 12 years old, that video. And he got up and he's like showing news clips of him it's about him. Oh. And like, that's the thing, that's everybody's style. And I saw teachers up at the front, like jamming, like they're in it, they're dancing, they're swaying. They might as well have a luau.
Everybody needs a different.
But they all like different things, and so I'm like, this is the longest way to say what your niche is. And I'm kind of in the back, and I'm watching it, and like the back half of the room is just kind of sitting down, being like, okay, those noted that teacher dances sometimes when given the opportunity to see, Aerosmith or whatever. This person has too much to drink at a Willie Nelson concert.
Dude looks like a lady.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're getting into it. Yeah. That's their vibe. That's fine. That's cool. And I'm sitting back there, and there's some teachers that are like probably my age, give or take 5 years. And I was just like, and I always make a joke. I love this joke, and I do it to other people. I do it, and I'll go, so who is better? and I'll do that. I've been in the room with multiple speakers, and I'll be like, so which one of y'all is a better speaker? I'd love it. It's one of my favorite jokes. And I just said it, and they gave me a face, and I go, I'm just kidding. Don't say it. And then they go, well, actually, they like the references, like the stuff I did, because it engages them, because I mentioned stuff they grew up with. There's one point where I'm talking about doodling on a paper, and I mentioned MASH. There's kids that grew up doing MASH. Like, am I going to live in an apartment or a mansion? All that stuff. And it's like these things, these pinpoints for like nostalgia for us. And I found that my audience, I'm millennials. That's my audience, because they grew up in different parts of the country,
Yep.
but with the same experiences
cultural. Yep.
around these same markers. And it's like, that's who my audience is. Like, you know, some teachers, they might like me. I've had, you know, older teachers come up and be like, I love how you talk about the young generation, but you have old school values. I get that. And, you know, and the young generation, they're just like, Betcash fam, they're not listening. They're on Snapchat. They don't care. They're memeing me. But it's like that generation in the middle, it's like, I can vibe with that.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think you've.
Yeah, I am that.
That's the other
So
thing.
that makes sense. Like,
Yeah.
hey, are you a generic white guy who grew up in the 90s? Boy, have I got you
Me,
set.
yeah.
Furbies and Tamagotchis. Here we go. Harry Potter references.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly proud. I think this is amazing.
Thanks, Neil. I only did it for you.
I can't wait to go. Well, we've been talking about this for a very long time.
Because it took me forever.
But it's the thing is you can't speed this up. There are some people
you can. There were a lot of people in my cohort that are already done.
Jump the line. You have to go through the process.
We got to go through the process, but I could have like there are people that got done way before me in my cohort, you know, like several months, like they got done way before me. But then again,
none
it's
of them
like
have a podcast that I listen to.
Fair enough. Well, but that's the thing too. They pushed theirs through and they were doing it. Like my advisor had people timing out. So here's a fun fact. And I assume that I think it's for all programs. So if you've ever heard the phrase ABD, all but dissertation,
No.
There are people that finish all their doctorate classes, but they don't finish the dissertation in defense. And they, like, I met a superintendent. I spoke at a school in Missouri. There was a superintendent there. He was about to retire. He's like, I was told him I was going through the program. He's like, yeah, I'm ABD. And I was like, what? He's like, I don't even like the way they do. And I don't know what his reason is.
For real.
So he won't ever be called doctor because you have 7 years from when you start that program to be done and defend.
Wow.
If you don't get done in that 7
done.
years, you're not a doctor.
No way.
I think you can start the whole thing over. I don't know if you can do it with the same college. I bet different colleges, but you're done.
That's
so
brutal.
my advisor had people that were timing out. And so I'm like, I'm not going to push myself to the front of the line and be like, well, good luck in 2 weeks when you do. So
you were aware.
And then we redid all of chapter 4 because we wanted to be a better study. And so I'm like, I want the best version possible, even if it takes me an extra month or 2 or 3 months or whatever it is.
That's right.
I want to be the best it can. And so I can do a podcast with my friend Neil.
There it is.
And he can sit there and be like, man,
talk about you,
Tyler,
Dr. Tarver.
if only we could talk for 50 minutes.
So what do you like? Do you like Dr. Tarver or you like Dr. Tyler? You like Dr. Tyler Tarver?
I mean, either, I don't care.
Just
call me. I'll get what you call me. Dr. Tarver probably sounds better, but Dr. Tyler, Dr. T, like Mr. T, but he kept going to school.
No, he's a Mister. What is that? What is it?
Dr. Pepper, though. Get the fizzy pop.
This is amazing.
It's fun.
Really, really cool.
It's cool because
Proud of you.
I have it forever. I told Amanda, I was like, I got it.
Can't take that away from you.
Well, I mean, they can probably, but
No.
I haven't to a superintendent.
Good.
Turns out he plagiarized. Yeah, he plagiarized his stuff. He was at Arkansas.
No.
He plagiarized his dissertation. Yeah, a lot.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's not
If
good.
you ever see Tyler post a TikTok or an Instagram video about him removing doctor from his title,
Oh yeah,
you'll know the thing.
Daddy made a mistake. Daddy, chill. I'll just tell you this. I'm just glad that ChatGPT wasn't around when I started, because I would have been like, man, this is too easy to ignore.
Yeah,
you know, I bet seriously, people are going to write entire dissertations. Using that in the future. I did not, for the record. I did not.
No.
I found out about 2 weeks ago. I was well done.
How crazy
with my
is that?
dissertation.
After you're done, you're like, oh, there's this tool.
There's this thing that can literally, I could say, use
this.
Write 2 paragraphs on flipped learning using 4 different sources and
insane.
APA format, and it would do it for me.
How crazy is that?
It's going to be crazy in the future trying to discern that.
Yeah, it is. Well,
Whatevs.
ladies and gentlemen, hopefully this helps you stay smart. Honestly, I don't think a lot of people know the process of how you actually get your dissertation, how you get your doctorate. Your doctorate.
Well, again, it's probably different for different fields, but that's educational leadership, and and I honestly loved Harding. It was a great program. I didn't do any of my other stuff there.
Yeah.
A lot of people that do their specialists, they'll roll in and do their doctorate there, but I didn't do it at U of A. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it, and then my friend Leanne was like, "Let's do this here." I was like, "Let's go."
I think it's important who you're doing it with.
Yeah, exactly. And I love my cohort. They were awesome, really cool. And I've actually gotten to work with, speak at some of the schools with some of the people that go there and do trainings.
They know you. They like you.
They were nice. And I've gotten to work with them. I've asked them to speak at stuff. So it's cute. It's whatever. Can we hit a whole hour? Should we talk for 8 more minutes? Ask me anything and I'll talk for 12 minutes.
AMA?
I always get that mixed up with the American Music Awards.
Yeah, it's not the same thing.
No, it's different.
It's Reddit.
Reddit AMAs.
Reddit AMAs.
Yep,
It's
that's
dangerous
true.
over there.
Yeah. Well,
All right.
how are you, Neil?
Will
If you
it
got
rock?
a question.
Will it rock?
Yeah, he didn't get his doctorate. It's Dr. Black
Do you
Adam.
think he will get
Honorary
an
doctorate?
honorary something?
Yeah.
Somewhere?
Oh, yeah.
Where? What school?
University of Phoenix online? Hey, Neil, if you were going to get your doctorate, what would you want your topic to be?
Oh, my.
What would you want to spend hundreds of hours analyzing, reviewing, writing, dissecting?
Whoo! I wonder a little bit in the diabetes space.
Cool.
I wonder, but I'm not. That's like I feel like you're like medicine doctor, Dr. Quinn, medicine woman. At that point, what did you say, Dr. Tyler, medicine man?
Dr. Tyler, medicine woman.
Yeah. I would think in there there is something that is, I don't know, it's stupid. I don't know why you would ask me that question because I'm not that smart.
You're much smarter.
I notice a lot of people that go to doctors and their doctors are there's a relationship. I don't even know if this is something that you could do a doctorate on, but there's a relationship that every person living with type 1 has with their endocrinologist, and the people who don't do well in their care, in the way they take care of themselves, have a somewhat of a bad relationship with their endo. Their endo actually makes them feel guilty for some of the things that they have to do and take care of, and it wasn't their fault that they have this.
So
I
it
don't
could
know
be
it's anything.
something like the influence of
It's hitting certain markers,
maybe influence of number of meetings, or like you need some sort of number you can measure.
Yeah,
I mean, you could do surveys, but it's really hard to be like, how did you feel?
Right.
And so it's like you could, but you could do a survey on like.
I know what it is.
What?
I know what it is. It's the difference between an endocrinologist who has type 1 diabetes versus one who doesn't. Because I have a doctor.
That would be a very interesting study.
It's drastically different. I had 2 doctors before the one that I have now, and there was a little bit of a negative connotation towards what I was doing. Mm-hmm. And I started doing something a while back where if they came in and they would say, I don't like the way this happened, I don't like the way that happened, and I don't like this, I'd say, listen, every day is different for me right now, and I'm doing the best I can. I would stop trying to answer all their questions because I realized they're just getting it out of their system, and they have absolutely no frame of reference what it feels like to have to do it every day. The people who have type 1 that are doctors, they have a completely different take on it.
Actually, you can't say that.
No,
you can't say they have a different take on it.
Okay.
Because you have to cite that.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's not cited.
I'm not allowed to say
your
the
null
word.
hypothesis was that, you were literally, your hypothesis, one of your hypotheses would be, I don't know how you would phrase it, like the endocrinologists having type 1 diabetes has no impact on, whatever can't say impact. I'm sorry. Has no influence. I get in trouble for that. I say impact too much. I said in my presentation, they corrected me. It has no influence on the, makes no prediction on the outcome of, patients, blah, blah, blah. And then the hypothesis 2 would be the other one. So it's you would essentially have to you try to be proving that it makes no difference. So like because I think, online education is important. I can't say that.
Yeah.
Like there was once near the very end in my conclusion, I talked about like the integration of technology. And I said like one sentence on, with, the pandemic, more teachers were required to use technology.
Oh, yeah.
And they were like, cite it.
Wow.
I was like, we were all there.
Yeah, everybody, you remember. It wasn't that long ago.
Usually I would go back. Most of the paper I went back and found, because I had so much, I could just search my bib dump. I just deleted the whole sentence. I was like, I ain't doing this. I'm good.
It's so much extra work.
Well, I mean, that one, I knew that was going to, well, actually, no, I did do a study. I think it was SMUDA, SZU-MD8, doesn't matter how it's spelled, in 2020 did an analysis of the number of like the top 100 most popular videos on COVID-19 and how many were actually done by healthcare professionals. It was less than 43%.
Oh my.
Of the top 100 most viewed videos were actually done. And this is not Johnny's opinion. Johnny's daddy taking a vision. It was not Johnny's opinion.
Wow.
This is a peer reviewed, like no bias. This cannot have an opinion in it.
It's true.
It's true. It is 100% true. I think it was like 42.6% of the top 100 videos, which is weird. Like, how'd you get a percent? Maybe they did more than one. I don't know how they did it because I don't know what kind of analysis they use. But they said it was 42.6% were found to be done by healthcare professionals. The rest were done by, creators,
Yeah.
people that didn't have any healthcare background,
Wow.
people that didn't have the credentials to actually be speaking on the topic, and then like companies. So
Oh my
it's
gosh.
wild, man. It's wild. That was one of my recommendations was instructors, students are learning online, whether you recommend it, whether you provide it, they're doing it.
Yeah.
There are tons of studies where it talks about students doing better when the instructors recommend it, when the instructors provide it. Like they do better because the student has confidence in what they're viewing because their instructor helped them get there.
Yeah.
It guided them to find valid resources online. And so it's important. If you film it, great. If not, show them where to find good stuff and how to discern it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's important for the earth.
It's trusted.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they don't know that. Students don't. The adults need to find it.
Yep.
And so the other one was like, give instructors time to create videos and make videos.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
and
wow.
Then administrators, give them an extra pep here. Give them more time to do it during the day.
Or incentivize for them doing that. That's going to be, well, you
exactly. Incentivize them. No, that's the thing. Let them put it on their YouTube channel, make money from it.
Yes.
And then you can put it on your YouTube. They asked me at the end, they asked me my opinion on like, what would you do if you were like starting a school? And I was like, Tarver Academy. If you were starting a school with this, I said, I would have part of the requirement. I would recruit teachers who are already creating YouTube videos online for education.
Yep.
I would have them create videos. I would create classes for students where they're the ones editing and adding in these graphics and elements as part of the credited class. And then I would put all those videos online, and any instructor who gets a video made can also publish that on their own personal account and make money off of it.
I want to go to your school. Oh, I would love that.
I mean, why? Like that's the thing. If you told me as a creator who makes YouTube videos, if you said, hey, we want you to make videos, but we own all of them, you can't do it, I'll be like, no, I'm good. Like, how do you attract them?
Yep.
You help promote them.
Yeah.
You build up their side income.
You're absolutely
then they
right.
want to stay because it's part of their job is making them money on the side of their job. Why would you restrict their income? But there's too many schools that are like, well, you made it on our time. It's our video, blah. And I'm good. You're going to lose all your valuable creators.
Yeah, they're going to go somewhere else and do it themselves.
Exactly.
Guaranteed.
Exactly.
These diabetes videos I do every day.
Yeah.
I just earned my first $1.36 on YouTube. Now, what's funny about that is
on shorts or on like long form?
On shorts. Well, it's across everything. I put all the diabetes videos I've done over time. I
put it on
monetize them. What's hilarious about it is that is a ridiculous number, and I'm so happy about it. It's the funniest thing. Like, I don't think that they need to think they're going to be able to quit their job to do these videos. It's just a way to validate and to be like appreciated for what they're good at being out there. Oh my gosh, 100% should be doing that.
No, I would, dude, if I started a school, I would literally make that part of the requirement.
It has to be.
I would say, you're going to record everything you do.
Good in front of the camera.
Yeah, then cool. Go find another school. Like, if you don't want to be, if that's the thing, I'm like, we use headhunters for everything, but we don't headhunt teachers. We're just like, we open the application.
Yep.
I would literally go online, search the top 50 to 100 YouTube educators for that subject.
Yeah.
Need a science teacher, 10th grade. I'm going to search 10th grade science. Bozeman Science, Tyler DeWitt. I'm going to pull them. I'm going to contact them and say, here's the deal. We're going to pay you a base salary of $50,000 a year. You're guaranteed that. Also, for every student you bring into our school, we're going to pay you commission for every year they're in school.
Oh, my.
Because you know what they'll do? Promote it on their YouTube. Because if I'm a student learning online.
If they don't have any, if they have no stake in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then why would they talk about you if they don't? But if they go on their channel, they've already got students learning, and the students like, wow, I can learn well from this professor that I love.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm just going to transfer to that school, take that class online, and then that teacher gets commission on that, and they can, any videos they make for me, they can post on theirs as well. And then we'll make Tarver Academy a ginormous library, and then they can all pull anything they want off of those videos and put it on their channel too.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Tarver Academy, like, subscribe.
Oh my gosh. It's amazing.
Oh man. Actually, I just don't want to be the principal. Being a principal is the worst. It is so much.
You're better than that.
No,
you're a doctor.
You're better than that.
You're a doctor.
I'm a doctor. I can write prescriptions.
That's awesome.
My favorite joke. Thanks, man, for asking. We hit an hour. Wow. Is that our longest podcast? No, we did like a best of one time that was like 2 hours.
That was like 2 hours.
That was a monster. Yeah,
we
made a lot of money off of it.
Oh my gosh.
Where's the YouTube revenue on that?
$1.36.
Hey, thank y'all for listening to me talk about the thing.
Hey, Dr. Tarver right now. Hey, if you would give 5 stars on Dr. Tarver's podcast. Dr. Tarver's
Tyler and Neil's.
That sounds like
hangout.
some sort of a lotion or a salve.
Tyler Neil's
Dr.
coconut
Tarver
spray.
All right, guys. Hopefully you know a little bit more
for balding
about
vegetarians. I don't know why I said that. I'm tired. I slept 36 hours.
This is 36 hours. This is 36 minutes. Tarver, Dr. Tarver for you.
Yep, we did our best. You never want to go full Tyler. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day, and thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Tyler and Neil Explain Everything, officially your 4th favorite podcast. New episodes every Monday and little baby bonus episodes every Thursday. And remember, if you want to meet your true love, send this podcast to your friends. Looks like you made it.